This is the first time we're doing it in English, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Why the co-working space?
When I looked at them, my first impression was, this looks like a nice business, but it's a real estate business. Maybe we'll do this when we are old. Cut to when we came back to India. At that time, there were no office spaces or co-working spaces that were around there. And we wanted to run a small 4-5 people company, right, with our edtech startup. So we couldn't find any office space which was that small. Any co-working space, one or two that were there, was about 20-25 kilometers from our house, right, in high-tech city or Gachibowli. So that's when we thought we'll start a small 40-seater space, run our 4-5 people company from there, and give the other space to other entrepreneurs that live around that area.
Right.
That's how CoKarma started actually. It started by chance. It started as a sidekick.
The name CoKarma literally translate co-working into CoKarma.
We ideated close to about 55-60 names before we came up with this name. Nothing was clicking. And while I was driving, right, an idea just popped up in my head and said, Karma is also doing good work. Right? Idea is co-working, right? So hence CoKarma, right? And that clicked.
The childhood must have been fantastic then. So many cousins, all good memories.
Looks like it from the onset now. But I had a very, very hard childhood. I wasn't the smartest. I wasn't getting the best of grades.
Okay.
My mother always used to be worried. Pata nahi kya karega bada hoke. She didn't think I would ever go abroad and study. She never thought of that in the wildest of dreams. I was always mocked for the way I looked, for my height. So there was a lot of bullying as well that I went through in my early days. But there was one thing that I always believed in myself. I knew that if I put my mind to something, I would do well and I would excel at it.
Tarun, nice meeting you. My name is Kaushik. We've met the first time today.
Yes.
This is called Kaushik Co. Where Co stands for conversations, for coffee, for co-working space in this case.
Yeah.
A lot of other Co's, community. So we tend to have a lot of conversations. This is the first time we're doing it in English, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So thank you.
So I'm the privileged member of this.
Yes, you are.
club.
Yes, you are. So depending on how this does, or even if it doesn't, we're going to continue doing this. But you're the one who's starting it off for us. So really happy about that. Thank you so much for giving your space. First of all, love the space.
Thank you.
Brilliant. So let's start off. Co-working spaces. The first co. Why the co-working space?
Why the co-working space?
Yeah.
Well, it happened by chance.
All right.
I used to work and live in Australia. I lived in Australia for about 8 years.
Okay.
And before doing CoKarma, I'd done 3 other startups. So when we were just about to come to India, I was working on a edtech startup, Ekta and I. When I say we, it's Ekta and me. Ekta, my wife, who's
The
also
dream team.
co-founder, the dream team.
Yeah.
She's my wife and co-founder in CoKarma. And she was my wife and co-founder in Learn More as well, which was the edtech company that we were doing. So when we were there, we had gone to a couple of co-working spaces where we had sort of brainstormed our idea. We had met other founders that were living in Melbourne.
Right.
And that's when I had seen co-working spaces for the first time, right? When I looked at them, my first impression was, this looks like a nice business, but it's a real estate business. Maybe we'll do this when we are old. Cut to when we came back to India, I used to live in an area called Himayatnagar.
Himayatnagar, yeah.
And at that time, there were no office spaces or co-working spaces that were around there. And we wanted to run a small 4-5 people company, right, with our edtech startup. So we couldn't find any office space which was that small. Any co-working space, one or two that were there, was about 20-25 kilometers from our house, right, in high-tech city or Gachibowli. So that's when we thought we'll start a small 40-seater space, run our 4-5 people company from there, and give the other space to other entrepreneurs that live around that area.
Right.
That's how CoKarma started actually. It started by chance. It started as a sidekick.
Out of need.
Out of personal need,
right?
Yeah. And then it so happened that, the edtech didn't do well, but the co-working was running full all the time. And we decided to double the capacity.
Right.
And as soon as we doubled the capacity, it got filled up in no time. Got filled up in about 13 days. And as soon as we saw that, we knew that there is something here. So let's keep pursuing it.
Nice.
And that's how co-working and CoKarma happened.
That's so nice, man. As in, so it's by chance, like you said, literally by chance, that this was never your idea in the first place.
Never my idea to do this. Never my idea to do this full time when we started it. Yeah.
So off late, the Gen Z that started getting into the workforce and stuff, they like cool offices.
Yeah.
They like swanky offices. They like places where they can show off to their friends and stuff, right? The typical offices are kind of losing their sheen. Do you think that's where the co-working spaces make it even more lively?
I think so. I think, see, my opinion about the new generation or the Gen Zs is, although they are perceived in a lot of different lights, but I think they're the most vocal generation
Of
that we've
course.
ever had.
Yeah.
Right? And they're very smart as
Yeah.
well. So what they're good at is they're good at communicating what they want. Whereas in our generations, right, when we did our first jobs, we wouldn't be able to go to our boss and say, give me a cool office, give me a nice place to
Yeah.
sit. That just wasn't the norm
Yeah.
back then. But these youngsters can voice that to their boss and say, hey, I want a nice place to work. I want a decent environment. I want it close to, commute. I want commute options. I want other facilities as well. If you give me that, I will perform better.
Right.
They communicate that, and they communicate that clearly. And it so happens that we understand that need, and we know that this is what the new generation needs, and this is what everyone would need as well. It's just that we have never been able to voice that clearly previously. So hence, I think co-working spaces appeal to them. That's why you see a lot of Gen Zs using our spaces. That's why you see a lot of bosses who are managing Gen Zs happy at our spaces.
Right. So the name CoKarma, again, did you literally translate co-working into CoKarma?
Yeah, so it's, well, the name came after a lot of ideation.
Okay.
We ideated close to about 55, 60 names before we came up with this name. And nothing was clicking, right? Nothing was clicking while we were sort of thinking of names. And one day I sort of decided that I'm going to just step away from all this brainstorming that we've been doing for about a week and not finalizing anything. And I went on a drive. And while I was driving, right, an idea just popped up in my head and said, Karma is also doing good work, right? Idea is co-working, right? So co was naturally going to be there. But Karma is also doing good work. And what we're trying to do as a company and a business is trying to bring people together so that they can do good work and make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Hence CoKarma, right? And that clicked. And as soon as I told it to 10 other people, everyone felt that it's a great name. Right? So we just went with that.
Yeah, nice. Name is often very important for a business, I assume. So when you say that you were brainstorming at multiple other options, what are the next top 3 options that you had? Just inquisitive.
Next top 3 options. I don't remember. This is years ago.
All right.
But if I try and recall, one of the names was Co-Stands.
Co-stands. Okay.
Co-stands.
Right.
Let's all of us stand together for each other and help each other because there's a community space that we're trying to build.
Right.
So that was one of the names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. How long has this been, CoKarma?
2018 is when we started doing this full time.
All right. And start as a 40-seater.
40-seater,
and
yes.
now it is?
Close to about 4,200 seats now.
Nice.
Close to 2 lakh square feet that we're managing. About 500 clients.
Hmm.
We have clients like Hyundai, Zepto, Zomato, Mahindra, Birla, Kotak. All these different, large businesses. A lot of startups and SMEs as well.
Right. So
have their units with us.
I get this. I understand the startups choosing to work in a co-working space. How is it that the big guys also want to use the co-working space?
How's it the big guys? Okay.
Yeah.
So our first adapters were startups and freelancers.
Right.
We could see a lot of startup companies and coming to us and asking for spaces. That's how the trend was in the first couple of years. So 2018, 2019, that was the trend. But when COVID hit, right, a lot of these large and mid-sized companies also realized the benefits of co-working.
Right.
What they wanted was ready offices because all of these companies during COVID were stuck in long leases, offices that they have built that they have never used, infrastructures that they don't like, infrastructures that were unutilized for 2 years and then got old without getting used, landlords that are sort of hard to deal with, who are very stingent or shrewd. So there are all these problems that a lot of these companies went through.
Right.
Plus their team sizes, they were not sure. So if they would take up a space for 300, 500 people and only 30 people showed up, that's a gross underutilization of the rents that they're paying and the infrastructure that they built.
Right.
So what these companies started doing was during COVID or just immediately after COVID, they started realizing co-working spaces exist, that they can take up a small 20, 30, 50 seater space and run that team from there. And if they need to grow, they will grow. If they need to grow, if they need to reduce, they had that flexibility. So co-working gives that flexibility to companies. They can start with a small space and then keep growing as their company grows.
Right. So this was COVID, which changed their perspective, the big companies?
Yeah, so COVID and that forced pressure led them to try
Right.
co-working spaces.
Right,
yes.
right. Now they love this,
Now they love it. Now they've tasted the blood, right?
right?
So
Right?
now they know that they can just send in a team and they just keep working. They don't have to worry about offices. They don't have to worry about housekeeping, power backup. Internet doesn't go off. They have, stable, reliable internet coming through all the time. Their tea, coffee, beverages are taken care.
Hmm.
We do half of their HR work. We host a lot of meetups and events, community events that we do, right? We host Diwali events, Holi events,
Hmm.
startup activities that we do. Right? So all of this sort of ecosystem is given to them on a platter, and all that they have to worry about is paying one bill and then talking to us if anything goes wrong. Yes.
Right. So, say somebody new is thinking of starting a co-working space. What are the top 5 things they should be really careful about or think through before they even attempt this?
Somebody was thinking of starting a
Yeah.
co-working space now
Yeah.
in 2026.
Yeah.
So firstly, understand that it's not an easy business to get in.
Right.
Right? On the surface, it looks like, oh, what is it? You just build an office and people come and work. But it's actually not that easy.
Hmm.
At its root, it's a hospitality business.
Okay.
So imagine running a hotel. Running hotels was never easy, right?
So this is not a real estate business at all then.
It's a hospitality business.
It's a hospitality business.
It's a hospitality business, right? And what I mean by that is, if you think of a hotel, right, you have people coming in and using rooms every day.
Correct.
And there is a certain level of service you have to provide them, and there is a certain level of expectation they would have with
Correct.
you, right? That's how this business is. This is a business where people take offices, right, and then they might take it for a day, or they might take it for a month, or they might take it for a year. Timeline is slightly different when you compare it to a hotel, but there's a certain level of service they expect from you, and there's a certain level of deliverable that you need to give to them to keep them happy.
Right.
Right. So you have to be hospitable to them. You have to understand what that client or a customer needs, and then make a space according to their requirement and give it to them, and make sure that you deliver every single day for the tenure that they are with you. Most of our clients stay with us for 18 months to 2 years, right? So that's their average period that they stay with us. So imagine, meeting their expectations every single day for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's how challenging this business can be.
So
yeah.
that's the number
So,
one.
so that is number one thing.
That's number one thing.
Understand that it's not a easy business to
Right.
be in, and it's a hospitality business. Second thing is, it's a very capital intensive business.
Right.
Right. Gone are the days when you can create a basic office and expect people to like it and use it. People want offices where they want to come in and enjoy the space that they are in, right? People have realized that they spend 8 to 10 hours.
Correct.
in
Majority
a
of
lot
their
cases,
waking hours
12
is in the
waking
office.
hour, majority of their life they're spending in these walls.
Correct.
So why not paint these walls beautifully, right? Is the idea. So we try and keep our offices beautiful. We want people to come in and like their spaces. We want them to love the environment that they are in. So if you build a basic office, if you think that you can cut corners, this is not the place to be. So that's the second thing. It's a capital intensive business, and you have to have beautiful offices that you build. Third is, you need to have a strong team, right? If you think you can do it all, or you can do it by yourself, then you're very wrong, right? You need to have a great team who can build a very good infrastructure for you. And then you need to have a great service team that can service these clients end to end.
Right.
Right. So it doesn't happen with the team. So you need to build a good team. It's like a proper business that you're running. If your front office is not good at a hotel, then they're representing your brand. Then they're representing what you're doing.
They're the face of the brand.
They're the face of the brand.
Yeah.
So that has to run well. Plus everything at the back end has to run well for things to function. So you need to have a great team, right? That sort of helps you
Correct.
in this entire process. So that's the third thing. Fourth thing is, it's not just about walls and offices and desks. It's a community that you have to provide to them. So we run about 4 WhatsApp communities and groups through which people can connect to each other. They can talk about their businesses, get some help that they want. But we host about 4 to 6 meetups and events every month physically at our spaces.
Okay.
So this is a place where people can come in and network, talk about their businesses, talk about their ideas, and learn from other entrepreneurs that are there in the city and that are there in the community.
Right.
For example, we host an event called Ideas Over Idli. In this event, we call startups and entrepreneurs who have done 100 crore plus businesses from Hyderabad. So this is an opportunity for people to get first-hand interaction with somebody who has done it, been there and done that.
Yeah.
Right. So we provide this community, this opportunity for people as well, so that they can grow from where they are and become better. Our motto at CoKarma is making more possible for people. Make more possible is our tagline.
Yeah.
So once you come in here, once you become a part of our community, we want to make more possible for you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's the fourth thing, right? So community. And then the last thing is you have to keep learning.
Hmm.
The space is evolving, right? Earlier, only startups were using it. There were certain level of expectations. Now, a lot of corporates want these spaces. Now, we are seeing that all commercial office real estate in India is slowly converting into managed office, co-working spaces, flex spaces, right? So, you have to upgrade yourselves, keep learning
Hmm.
uh, about the industry and meet the demands of the industry, right? If you
Right.
don't do that, right,
Right.
you will be left behind and there'll be others who will take over.
Right. All right. So you've told me about 5 things. Now
Yeah.
let's double tap on these 5 things.
Yeah.
Right. I'm kind of assuming that you didn't have all these sorted
Yeah.
on day one
Yeah.
or year one.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've learned a lot of things
Yeah,
along
of
the way.
course.
Now, when you said it's not, don't look at it as a real estate business, but a hospitality business.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of a revelation. We're like, I thought it's always a real estate business.
Uh-huh.
You have office spaces. Why
Uh-huh.
did you say a hospitality business?
Uh-huh.
So when did that shift, or when did you started realizing, oh, it's not just about giving the space, but it's about the service also? Was there a specific aha moment, or did you always start off thinking that it's not just the space, but the service also, in tandem?
Yeah, so originally I didn't think of this as a real estate business or any other form of business. I was very open-minded,
Okay.
right? As entrepreneurs, right? When you're starting something new, especially in an industry which you've never been a part of, never been a part of real estate or hospitality or of any of these industries that I'm in currently. So you have to go in with an open mind that you would start off with an experiment and then speak to customers and then learn from them and then like sort of build along the way. Right. As I said, I had done 3 other startups before this.
Correct.
And I think some of those learnings came into play. The other 3 startups were all software startups. And how do you build a software startup? You build an MVP, right? And then you sort of put that in front of customers,
Test it.
you take their feedback, test it, and then make it better and then bring it back again in front of them. So when we did our first 40-seater space, we thought co-working means people working together, people will be okay to sit next to each other. It's all open spaces that people want, right? So all 40 seats were all open desks that we built. And we couldn't be further from wrong, right? So our first clients who came in, they said, hey, what is all this? This is all like open. I can't get my team to sit here. I want privacy. I want a closed space. We make calls. We don't want other people to hear our calls. Can you build us a room and give us? So that one person said, and then two people said that request kept coming. And we listened to them. We said, okay, hang on. These people are saying they want rooms. Let's build a few rooms and see what happens. So we built a couple of rooms in that 40 seaters. They got taken up in no time. So that was a validation for us that people want more private cabins. So then we experimented in our next space. We said, okay, our first space was 100% all open desks, right? And then only a few cabins. In our next space, let's do 50% cabins and 50% open desks, right? When we did that, we realized that the cabins were getting taken, very immediately. As soon as we build them, people would want to take them. But the open desks were lying vacant and then people would rotate on them. Right. So there's a lot of churn in the open desks as well. So, okay, when we do our, third or fourth space, we will do 80% cabins and then 20% desks. And then that worked well again, right? So we kept like sort of evolving. If you look at this space, if you look at this center that you're sitting in, this is 100% all private cabins. These are, cabins built for teams for their requirement, customized to their needs.
So you brought your software development into your real estate sort of space.
Yeah.
Because
so the mentality.
The MVP, the mentality, right? The MVP you're talking about, the minimum viable product. So the 40-seater was your MVP to start off. And then you got feedback.
Yeah.
And then iteration 1, you added cabins.
Yeah.
Then you put it out again.
Yeah.
Again, you got feedback. Iteration 2. So you were basically doing software development only.
Yeah. And that's just one example, right? The other example was, when we speak to our customers, we tried to understand what else they needed, what else added value to them. So a lot of them said, hey, we would need we want to meet other entrepreneurs that are in the city. We want to learn from them. We want to learn from successful people. So we said, okay, when we do our second space, we'll do an event setup there, right? So that in weekends, we should be able to do, events for entrepreneurs. We'll call successful and other entrepreneurs from the city and get them to meet a network. So we did that, right? So what is important is, as a founder or an entrepreneur, you have to keep listening to your customers. The day you stop listening to your customers and think that you know everything, you know it all, and you will give them a perfect iPhone and they would love it. That Steve Jobs mentality works only
For Steve Jobs.
only for Steve Jobs. Only
Yeah.
for Steve Jobs or
Yeah.
Henry Ford. But the rest of us will have to talk to our customers, listen to them, and build for them.
So that was the first one. Second one you said was
Capex. It was very
capex
capital
intensive business. All right.
Yeah.
So then you had 3 other startups, but
Yeah.
like you said, they didn't take off.
Yeah.
So how did you fund? How did you get the capex for this particular business? if you don't mind
this,
sharing.
So this one, okay, interesting story behind it. So this is a very capital intensive
Hmm.
space. As I said, our first 40-seater took close to about 6 lakh rupees for us
Okay.
to build, and we didn't know how to build it efficiently as
Right,
well,
right.
and we didn't know how to do it in a cost that sort of makes sense to. So when we were trying to do our next space, I was sitting on a dining table with my mother like this, and then I come from a business background, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a Marwadi.
It runs in the
Marwadi
blood.
Bunny, it runs in the blood.
Yeah.
My father was into sari textile business all his life. And I talk to my mother about business all the time, and she's also in general, sort of, she understands business,
Right.
She likes
Everybody
having these
does.
conversations. So I was sitting with my mother like this. One day, and I was like, "Arey, my tech company is probably not doing well. I don't know what to do." And she used to see me every day. And then she was like, "Arey, your CoKarma, your co-working space business is doing well now. It's a small space, 40-seater space. I know there's not a lot of money, but why don't you sort of double that and see if that works, right? Like, we can double it, we can increase the capacity, but where are we going to get funds from?" She's like, "I'll help you get some loan. I'll talk to a relative who will sort of help you fund that. You double that to an 80-seater. It's not a lot of money. So do you think you're willing to do it?" I said, "Okay. If you're happy to support, I'm happy to experiment." And then I said, "Okay, let's pivot and sort of start over." That's how the first funding for the first expansion came.
Right.
So the very first came from the savings. The second came from a loan that we took from a relative. And then third and fourth came because we were successfully managing that loan really well.
Right.
And also clients were coming and saying we wanted more spaces in other parts of the city. Then after our third space, somebody approached us and said, "Hey, look, we have this building. We will invest in this building. We will do the infrastructure of the building.
Right.
We know that you guys are doing a good job. Are you willing to run CoKarma from that building? Right? We will fund the infrastructure."
So the work spoke for itself.
Huh?
Your work spoke for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that time, right? So we were probably the only co-working space, only 2-3 co-working spaces in the city. And then we said, "Okay, why not? We will have a look at the building." So this building is right opposite the Durgam Cheru Lake and the bridge.
Okay.
Right. So at first I was like 4 floors. We only have 200 odd seats. This building alone itself is like 400 seats. So I had my own doubts. But as soon as I went to the building and stood on the floor plate, it didn't even have walls. The walls of that building is done as per our specification.
Okay.
So when I stood on the slab of that building and I looked, I could see a lake. And I was like, wow, great view from the building. If I love the view, I'm sure the clients who will come here and use the space will love the view as well. And then it so happened that, that lake view was, visible to all our clients. And then later the Durgam Cheru bridge came in as well. It got built after.
Right.
The bridge got built after we took the space. So we sort of pivoted or iterated on the business model, right? Until then, the mentality was a co-working space could only be built by putting your own money or funding it through your own loans. But this was a way to fund it from the owner of the property and from the builder of the property and leveraging that.
Right.
This is called a revenue share model in our industry. So there are basically 3 ways people now run co-working spaces. One is they fund it with their own capital.
Got it.
Second is they work in partnership with the property owner or the building owner, and then they fund it. And then the third is somebody who has funds will take a space on rent or will buy a space, and then they give it to you for you to run and operate and market the space.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it becomes like a business for them, which gives them stable returns and stable capital. Right. So,
okay. So let's hit the pause on these 5 things. Just a small segue because the minute you mentioned your mom and the conversation, the Marwadi angle to it, I'm like, how is it that each one of you are good at business? Kaise hota hai ye? Kya hai? What's the trick, man? What's the secret sauce?
I wouldn't say each one of us are
most of you at least.
Most good at business, or most of us are good at business.
Yeah.
It's like saying all Reddy boys are good at IT. Is that true?
It's not.
It's not true, right? Or anybody from Hyderabad is good at IT.
Yeah.
That's not true, right? But that's how people
majority.
But a lot of good business people come from the Marwadi, Gujaratis, in the communities of the country.
Correct.
That is true.
Yeah.
Now, the way it happens is what I've seen is when we are growing up, right? the conversation about business is there. You see, you have conversations about business while you're growing up,
Right.
right? You understand what taka or interest means from, from the age of 12, 13.
Got it.
When I was young, we used to live in the older part of the city, right? Old city is where we used to live in, and that's where my father's sari store was and is there. So after I finished school, I used to go and sit at his sari shop to help him out, especially during his peak season periods.
Right.
So I used to sit there in his sari shop and sell saris. So at that young age, at the age of 12, 13, 14, I'm selling saris to customers and learning about sales. I didn't even realize at that time that I'm learning how to sell. But you learn that at a very young age as a Marwadi boy, right? You see a lot of these, carpentry stores, hardware stores, but you see a lot of young Marwadi boys coming and sitting in these stores.
Yeah.
They learn about business at a very young age because their part-time job after the school or college is to come and sit with their father.
Correct.
In their business, right? So it gets we sort of get training from that young age, and we carry all those learnings.
You have a head start on all of us.
Huh?
You have a head.
we can call it that.
Yeah.
And it's funny how a lot of these things play up, right?
Correct.
So, for example, at our sari store, my father used to say that the store should always look bright. Right? When somebody is looking at your store, when a customer is looking at your store from outside, he is deciding whether I'm entering the store and talking to them or not. So it has to look appealing and bright from the outside. So we brought that learning to CoKarma. We said when a client is coming for a visit, all your lights should be switched on. The space should be presentable. He is making his decision right from the time he is walking in and putting his first foot in. So from that point till the time he leaves, he should feel that he is at a great space.
Let me just say this. Everything we put on YouTube for that matter, the thumbnail is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Nobody really gives a damn about what's inside. Only if the thumbnail is interesting, they click on it. So that's the lights, that's the brightness your father told you about.
Yeah. So that's the hook, right?
That's the hook.
You see in content creation
Correct.
You say the first 3 seconds is very important.
Yes.
Why do they say that?
Yes.
Because somebody's trying to decide whether they want to waste their next 1 minute on watching that reel or not.
Correct.
So that's what the client is also deciding. They're deciding right from the time they looked at you and they stepped in, whether I want to take this space or not.
So the head start that all you boys and girls from your community have is running us into the ground.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to exaggerate things. But this makes total sense because I was not exposed to money or the financial aspect of life till very late. It's not taught in schools. It's not taught in college. Unless you take a commerce degree, you don't even know what accounts mean. I did engineering. I had one subject of accounts in second year. That's all I remember. My dad's a chartered accountant. He didn't teach me anything about finances. That's something that should probably be incorporated into education. Schooling itself. Say, for example, from 5th grade or 6th grade, talk to them about taka. Kya hota hai? What's percentage? How do you make money out of money? Investing is a dur ki baat hai. Nobody even knows about. I myself got to understand the stock markets only during COVID, which I thought is like so late in my life, because we were told stock markets is dangerous. Satta hai.
Yeah.
Right? It's gambling. That's because people didn't understand that. Now you folks, you understand how money works. You understand how money is made, and that makes so much of a difference.
Yeah. I think. See, in our country, we should get people to learn about money,
right?
Finances, personal finances, business finances, growing money at a very young age, right? And then people are not taught or a lot of these things until very late in life, right? So we can do a lot better job at that. It can come in schools, it can come in homes, it has to come in practice as well. It can't be just theory. You should have practical sort of examples where you give somebody I'm giving you 500 bags, go and sell these bags and come back. Right? So they should go out in real life and sell those bags and come back. Because unless they do it, they will not learn it. Can you teach somebody how to swim by giving them a book?
Yeah,
you can't, right? They have to dive into the pool.
Correct.
They have to drown a few times before they learn how to swim, right? So
not everybody's father has a sari business in Old City.
Well, yeah.
But jokes apart, I think what you say makes total sense.
Yeah.
That's the reason you understand business the way you do.
Yeah.
The women folk, even they are part of the money matters, the money discussions and stuff.
Yeah, very much.
Very much?
Very much. It depends. I mean, depends on the family culture as well.
Right.
So culture to culture, it sort of differs. And you know how our country is. I've been very lucky where We've had a very open culture.
Hmm.
All the women, in the family like sort of participate a lot. I learn a lot from my grandmother. I learn a
Right.
lot from my mother. I learn a lot from my sister. I learn a lot from my wife Ekta as well, right? So,
Hmm.
it's just that we shouldn't see people in terms of gender,
Right.
like men or women. You should see people in terms of people and what you can learn from this
Yeah.
person and whether you like that
Yeah.
person or not, and then have a relationship
Yeah.
that way.
And the
Um,
way the women folk ran the household affairs,
yeah,
it blows my mind. No, even
yeah,
if I sit and think, how did my mother manage to pull off what she did?
yeah,
My father knew nothing about the home finances.
yeah,
It was my mom who was the home minister, the finance minister,
yeah,
everything. She was
yeah,
all rolled into one. And she didn't even finish her degree.
yeah,
Right? She discontinued her degree for whatever reason. But what I'm trying to say is they knew how to manage with whatever money they had and still save and still invest however way possible. Like chit fund mein dal diya,
yeah,
yahan dal diya, wahan. But they still figured a way out to do that. And that's
yeah.
something that all of us can learn.
For sure, for sure. I
Yeah.
think women are extremely powerful.
Yeah.
You look at our country and look at sports in our country, right?
Hmm.
Who are the top sports people, getting medals from our country,
Right.
right? It's all women
Correct.
that are getting all the medals for our country. And for that matter, I've been, actively like sort of making sure that, women around me are empowered. For
Right.
example,
Right.
my sister, she's a doctor.
Hmm.
And then when we were, young and growing up, right, there was this time when, my family felt, hey, whether we'll be able to support her education or not, whether she should take medicine or engineering or commerce, because those are relatively like cheaper
Correct.
sort of, courses to do, right? But then I said, look, I live in Australia. She's my younger sister. I'll support her in every which way I can because I want her to fulfill her dream
Right.
and for her to have that chance that she becomes whatever she wants to be, at least have that chance for her. And then I supported her in MBBS. I supported her later education, and she's now a doctor now. She's now
Right.
studying neurology. She's a neurologist,
Hmm.
right? And then she's also married to a doctor.
Hmm.
Very happy in her life, doing extremely, extremely well.
Yeah.
And she's probably one of the smartest, most educated person in our entire family.
Right.
We have a family of probably 250 people, an extended family, my
Yeah,
father's
yeah.
family, my mother's family,
Yeah.
my wife's family, right? But she's probably the most educated, the smartest person. And it makes all of us, everybody in the city who knows her, extremely, extremely proud of what she's achieved.
Hmm. Now, sorry, but the minute you said 250 people family,
Yeah.
it takes me to another segue now. Now, one, since you were kids, you were exposed to finances.
Yeah.
But the fact that you stay in a joint family setup,
Yeah.
most of you again,
Yeah.
right? A lot of other families also do, but do you think it's an advantage because you have to interact with so many people that you learn these interpersonal communications also,
Yeah.
which later point in life help you? Has that played out for you?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. Over the years, people have asked me that question that, hey, how are you so good with different types of people, right?
Correct.
Like we have so many different personalities within
Yeah,
our team
yeah.
as well. And I'm good with most of the people. And then people are surprised as to how I'm able to do it. And it comes from there. It comes from a fact that I've lived in such large families. Like in the house that we used to live in, we had 12 people later on, but earlier on we had about 25, 30 people. In my mother's father's house, which is my Nanaji's house, there were about 50, 60 people living in one single house, right? Which was
Right.
multi-story, right?
Right.
But you're meeting so many different people, different personalities. So you have to change yourselves
Right.
while you're speaking to different people, based on their personality, right? So that comes from there. Those interpersonal skills are hard to get later on in life.
Right.
And then now so many families are living in silos, living in those nuclear
Nuclear
families,
families.
and then missing out on all of that.
Yes,
Right? So,
yes, for sure, for sure. The
Mm.
childhood must have been fantastic then. So many cousins, all good memories.
no. Looks like it from the
Outside?
onset now, but I had a very, very hard childhood.
Is it?
To be very honest, I wasn't the smartest. I wasn't getting the best of grades.
Okay.
My mother always used to be worried.
Worried.
She was like, "Pata nahi kya karega bada hoke."
Hmm.
And then she didn't think I would ever go abroad and study. She never thought of that in her wildest of dreams. I was always mocked for the way I looked, for my height. So there was a lot of bullying as well that I went through in my early days. But there was one thing that I always believed in myself. I knew that if I put my mind to something, I would do well and I would excel at it.
Where did that come from?
I think it came a lot from cricket.
Interesting.
I used to play cricket a lot,
Hmm.
and I was good at it. Since the start, since the school. And whenever I, thought of improving in an area, I used to get better at it. So from that, I understood that if I put my mind to something, I'll be able to do better. It was just that I was not interested in studies that much. It was just that, I was part dyslexic. My handwriting was bad. I used to, struggle in reading, right? So all that I realized later on. But when I went to Australia, there was no necessity of writing. All our assignments were on a laptop, on a computer. If I made spelling mistakes, they were all corrected through Word.
Ah.
So suddenly I was doing well. Suddenly I was one of the best guys in college when I was doing my MBA in Australia. And then we reflected as to why has this happened. It was always things.
It's all like it's only a
that we
case
didn't
of
realize.
not asking the fish to run a marathon, but
Yeah.
asking the fish to swim.
Yeah,
And you found your waters, and
so true.
yeah, that kind of worked for you. Nice. Went in a different segue. All right, let's
Yeah.
come back. So the first one is it's a hospitality business. Second, it's a capex intensive
Capex
business.
intensive.
Third was the community.
Fourth was community.
Third was
Third was the team.
the team.
Yes.
So how did you go about getting your first team member? Because I believe that's the most important hiring decision you make.
So first team member was my co-founder and my wife Ekta. So
After that, come on, that's your dream team. After that,
she was the first person I had to convince that this is something we should do.
Easy discussion to have with her, or
No,
was
it took a few back and forth. These things are never as it's played in movies that you are sitting in a room and then now you're here to decide. This happens over a period of time. You're seeing something and you're nudging. They're seeing something, observing something and nudging. So it happens that way. And then one day you finally decide, okay, we need an office. We need to make a decision now. So let's just do this. Right? So, but first team member was our first community manager. Before he came in, we were doing all the work. So we were handling all the visits. We were handling any issues that came from clients. We were there building the space. Right? We were handling all the accounting, finance, bookkeeping. I was a person who built a website. So I went on WordPress and built a website that was there for a number of years online. Right? So when our first team member came in, it so happened that one superpower that I say I have is finding good people. Right? So when Sharad came in, he approached us. When we put up a job, he was like, hey, I'm in Hyderabad. I've been a part of a co-working space earlier in Delhi. Can I come and meet you? I think it's a good brand that you're building. So he nudged me a couple of times on LinkedIn.
Okay.
He came in for an interview, spoke to him for about an hour and immediately liked him. And I said, great, you're a good person. I would love to have you in our team, become our community manager. And he was handling about 2-3 branches at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you say you have the superpower of understanding who's a good fit,
Picking up people,
picking up the people, what are the qualities that you look for
in a person? So whenever we are hiring for CoKarma, right? It can differ from business to business.
Of course.
But whenever we have been hiring for CoKarma, the first thing that we look for is empathy. Right? The person that we are hiring should have empathy. And the reason we look at that particular trait is because they should have empathy to understand what the client wants.
Right.
And if they're telling you a requirement, you should be able to understand that requirement and give them a solution. Firstly. Secondly, if they have an issue at the space, you shouldn't brush it off. You shouldn't be a person who would say, Are, he keeps complaining or he has this issue all the time with us. You should understand what problem they have. Put yourselves in their shoes. Customer centricity is very important. Look at that and then solve that problem for them. You can only do that if you have empathy. Right? So empathy for clients, then empathy for team members. So all these people will be working with people who are at different levels. They'll be working with CEOs, CXs of these customers, and they'll be working with their housekeeping team, support staff, security staff, and the team who builds these spaces as well, right? So they'll be dealing with people of various levels and at various times in their lives.
Right.
So if you have empathy, then you'll be able to talk and communicate and understand how these people operate and work. So that's one quality that we look at, right? So empathy is very, very important. And obviously other things are, everybody in the team should have sales skills, right? So even if a security guard is given a job to do a visit, he should be able to do it.
Okay.
And, if our top level salesperson is also given a job to, do operations work, he should be able to handle an operational issue that comes in the company, right? So sales skills are paramount. Some level of sales skills, communication skills people should have. Thirdly is they should love CoKarma. We like having people who like us, right? So if they don't like our brand, if they're doing this just for money or just to have another job, then they probably don't fit in, or they probably just move on, or we move on from them. But if they like CoKarma, they tend to perform well. They tend to understand what we are trying to build. They tend to understand our mission. So that's another thing that we look at.
All right.
Yeah.
So, given a choice between somebody who's hardworking or extremely talented, which one would you choose?
Hardworking. Why not both? Why can't they be
That's
talented,
your perfect
talented and
mix.
hardworking?
Yeah.
But what I've found is, talented people are. This is the reality that we live in, right? Talented people are very hard to keep, and then very
Correct.
hard to
Correct.
for a company to meet their expectations. If somebody themselves feel that, hey, I'm very talented or have these different skills, then they want to do their own thing most of the time. We sort of tend to take people who come in with the mission that, hey, I'm going to spend 2-3 years in this company building these 3, 4, 5 skills, and then from there I will look at something else, or I will build something else within this company. And those are the people who will contribute.
You're fine with the fact that they'll be there for 2-3 years and then move on?
Yeah, completely fine.
Because a lot of companies now, most of the IT companies don't like that, because they train people, right? They train people, they bring them up to certain speed, like how they put it, and then say 2-3 years, when they start believing that, okay, now's when I start getting the ROI from that person, that resource, like they keep calling, and the person decides to switch, they don't take it well. This happens in most of the corporates. How is it that you're okay with people moving on?
Yeah, so see, we don't look at people as ROI, right?
No resources,
Huh?
no human resource. As
No. We don't look at them as resources.
Yeah.
We like having people around us that we can sit and have coffee with, lunch with, meals with, go party with, play cricket, play pickleball with. So that is the first thing. We see people as people, right? And only if we see them people as people, they would see our clients as people and not just clients, right? So somebody who's coming into the team, their only job and the first job is to make sure that our clients are happy.
Right.
As far as they're doing that, they're doing their job well. So that is there, right? And then how long can somebody keep doing the same thing, right? So 2-3 years is what we've found as a sweet spot for people to stay with us. Obviously, as we grow, we would want some of these people to stay with us for 5-10 years.
Right.
It is not our recommended choice to keep them only for 2 years. But it works that way. And you have to be realistic about it. You have to understand that people like growing, and we take a lot of young people. They like growing, they like studying.
Right.
For example, we had a team member, Mitra, right? She was handling our social media, and she was helping me a lot with a lot of other things, partnerships, and things of those nature. And then she was a very, very strong team member for 2 years. And then she had to go to US and study and do her masters, and then she wanted to do bigger things in life, and we want her to do well as well. So that's how we see it.
All right. I don't know if I was reading about this or hearing it, that you should build teams like a sports team and not like a family. A lot of people say that, oh, we are a family. They say, no, not supposed to be like a family, because when it comes to family, sometimes you have these chalta hai, ya fir, you probably let go of some things, oversee a few things. But if you build it like a sports team, then you hold each other accountable. Sometimes you cover up for your partner, like a cricket team, right?
Yeah.
It's not always that your opening partner won't score all the runs. There'll be sometimes, and you have to bat for the other person also. You'll have to field for the other person also. You'll have to bowl for the other person also. Which philosophy would you subscribe? Would you call your team your family or your sports team?
No, I don't endorse the whole family sort of picture for your team, because you don't fire your family members, right?
Yeah, you can't do that.
you can't do that, right? So there is a certain level of performance that is expected from everybody. If people are performing, only then you can run a company.
Right.
If people are sitting around and not doing their jobs, then you're failing as a company, and you can't do what you're supposed to do as a brand and a business, right? So they have to absolutely perform as a sports team. Everybody has a role. For example, in cricket, there are batsmen who have a certain role to play. An opener has a certain role to play. Somebody coming who is 2 down, 3 down has a role to play.
Yes.
Bowlers have a role to play. Fielders have a role to play. Right? So everybody has their roles, and all of them have to perform for a team to win a World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So that's how a team has to perform as well, right? The ops guy have to do their job, the sales guys have to do their job, the social media team has to do their job, right? Everybody else, right from our security guard to everybody at the CXO level has to do their job well.
That's when your well-oiled machine runs.
Yeah.
So cool. So that's the team
You can't run a car on 3 wheels, right?
Yeah.
All the 4 wheels, the engine and the steering wheel, all has to work.
All has to go together. Right. Cool. So finish the third. We cover the third part. The fourth is the community.
Community, yes.
Community aspect that you spoke about. Now, again, like you said, this is the second office that you started. That's when you thought of having a community, a kind of a space, because that's when you got a feedback saying that we would like to meet others from the similar space. So that's where it started off.
Yeah.
And now it's gone to a different level altogether.
Yeah. So we do probably the most amount of events in Hyderabad for communities, for startups, right? And most of our events are free. We don't charge anything for these events.
Okay.
We run a run club as well, right? So we just started a run club. As I said, we do ideas over it. So we do a lot of events. And that's where it sort of started from. It started from somebody telling us that probably you need event spaces as well because we need to meet other people. But I was selfish there. I am a people's person. I like meeting other entrepreneurs and I like that energy and I like to learn from them. And I also like this, right? So let's do it and see. So we do some of the events which are hosted and sort of entirely end-to-end managed by CoKarma. And then we partner with other people as well. So for example, we partner with Ichai Ventures. So they host something called a demo day.
Okay.
On a last Saturday of each month, right? Where startups come and pitch their startups to a live audience of 80, 90 people, get feedback. It's an opportunity for them to hire people, find co-founders, sell their products. So we do that. And then we partner with, in a lot of cases, with other communities that are running their own sort of things. So for example, recently we partnered with Ground Zero, right? So they're a small run club which has started as well. So we said, okay, next time when we do our run, we will partner with you. We partnered with the gym who wants to sort of do their, gym activities at our clubs. So yeah.
Nice. So in a co-working space, I'm sure now collaboration and community has become a huge feature, right? In the spaces that you own, you operate, can you give a couple of examples without taking names, if that's a problem, taking names, where people from two different companies got together and magic happened?
Yeah, there are a lot of such examples. So for example, at one of our high-tech city branches, there was one young lady who came in. She took up a small cabin with us, 3-4 seater, and she was just starting up, right? So she was running a HR agency. She would find resources and provide to companies. She had no clients when she came in, and all her clients eventually after 6 months were all from CoKarma.
Okay.
Right, and that we felt was beautiful because one is, we are giving an opportunity for this young business to find clients within their 4 walls or within their building. And second is all these clients who needed resources, they have somebody within their building who can help you with resources, right? So that way it was a pure win-win.
Win-win, like they say. Yeah. Amazing. Any situations where just because there are two companies working together, things don't go well, how do you kind of address those issues? Does it come under your purview or do you let the companies figure it out?
No. We definitely have to play a role when one client is not happy with other and then it sort of escalates to a certain level. If they manage it within themselves, then that's fine. But if a company is feeling uncomfortable, like for example, one of the key roles of a community manager is to keep an eye on the issues that the client is facing, but they're not telling you.
Okay.
Right? So if they notice something funny happening between two companies, and if they feel that one client is uncomfortable, they would actively go and speak to their client and just try and understand in a casual manner, hey, is everything okay? Is something troubling you? And then those clients tend to open up and say, hey, I'm doing this. This guy is like sort of poaching my employees, or this guy is like sort of making a lot of noise next door. Can you please help me with this? And then we have to find a way to help that client or resolve that between them.
Right.
There have been some cases where we had to tell a client to vacate as well because they were just not fitting into the environment. So those things happen.
Must be interesting conversations asking somebody to vacate.
It's never easy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
You got to do what you got to do now.
How did you get comfortable having these difficult conversations? That's something I struggle with, honestly. I'm somebody who avoids confrontation. I'm somebody who... the problem is when I get into a conflict, it so happens that my emotions overpower me, and after a point, I don't know what I'm saying. So I tend to stay away from them. It's not easy for me to have, even for that matter, when I was still in the IT job, having the appraisal discussions was never an easy thing.
Right.
Because you'll never see eye to eye on that, because the manager will have a different point of view, you're going to have a different point of view, and the discussions tend to turn into arguments, and when someone loses sight of things, it's very difficult. So what's your methodology to having these difficult conversations?
So to be honest, I'm not great at it as well, personally.
Okay.
Personally, I may be really, really bad at it. And I've done a lot of those or most of those
Hmm.
mistakes when I was working as well with corporates. But one thing that we're true at is making sure we do justice to our customers,
Right.
right? So if anything is troubling our customers, then we either learn that skill or we find a way to, do better at it, right? So if our clients need help, if they need us to step in, then that superpower comes in naturally. So we have to make these conversations, right?
Right.
So there's no two ways about it. The way it started was, one client had an issue with another client. We had to talk to them, right? The first time it didn't go well. You go back and you learn. You learn from an experience of somebody shouting at you, and you handling it really poorly.
Yeah.
And then going back and reflecting on it, and then doing better next time.
Yeah. It's like cricket again, right?
Yeah.
You have a bad day. You'll have to go back to the nets, figure out what your fault was, and then
Yeah.
come back the next match and try and be better.
For sure. And then it's like how Roger Federer said in his recent speech as well,
yes,
right?
Yes.
He missed out on more than
50% of the points. Yeah.
50% of the points.
Yeah.
And he still was the greatest player of his era. What you have to do is you have to forget about that point that didn't go well, and then focus on the next point, the next day, the next client, the next conversation.
Easier said than done, isn't
Very
it?
hard. Very
Right?
hard.
I mean, like you said, sales is something that you'll get to learn only when you do it. Even
Yeah.
this is something you'll probably get better at only once you
Keep doing it.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
Make those mistakes,
Yeah.
learn from them. So
But if you chicken out after the first conversation,
then you're done.
if you say, right, I can't have these conversations, then your clients will leave. You'll not be able to grow as a business, and you will not be able to create a brand that you initially set out to do.
Right. So we've got about 4. Fifth one was listening to your customer.
Keep learning. Yeah.
Keep learning and keep
Keep
listening.
learning.
Keep learning from the, so what are the things that you had to learn to keep growing this from a 40 to a 4,000 seater?
40 to a 4,000 seater space.
Huh.
Right. So firstly, we had to learn how to build spaces. I
Mhm.
knew nothing about building an office space infrastructure.
Okay.
I was so bad at it. I didn't know the difference between a Wi-Fi connection and a LAN connection in our first office.
Interesting.
It was our client who said, "Hey, your Wi-Fi is not working well. Give me a LAN connection." So I went back and Googled, "Hey, what is the LAN connection that he's talking about?"
Got it.
So that's how bad we were. I didn't know the difference between building a gypsum wall or a wooden wall, or how the costing of those differ. What would a brown color would be better, or an industrial look would be better. So you see, we learned all of this by doing 2-3 things. One is, as I said, you listen to your clients,
Right.
and learn. You have to be curious. You have to have that open mind. Second is you learn by observation. Right. I was lucky to live in a country like Australia, where I'd seen beautiful offices already. Right. In Melbourne, where I went to the co-working space that was there, it was built in a factory.
Okay.
It had like those large factory-like European walls, and then large, glass windows. I brought that architecture to a space that we had done in Kokapet. In Kokapet, we converted a warehouse into a co-working space. So there, once you enter, you would see those European walls.
Right.
And then, you would see a reception, which is like a 26 feet height reception. Like, for example, in these buildings, in these corporate buildings, we're restricted by height. The max you get is 10, 12 feet. But once you enter, you get a 26 feet height reception. You get a marble flooring. You get a double staircase. So all that we could envision, think, observe, and then bring into our business.
Right.
That's where the creativity, you being an entrepreneur, you trying to learn, you trying to improve, become better at your craft sort of comes in.
Yeah. The 5 things, I think I've got a lowdown on how you approached it, what you've learned and all of that. Now, designing these spaces, were you a designer?
Was I a designer? Never.
No.
I was not an interior designer.
Then how do you understand, how do you come up with these designs then?
How do I come up with these designs? So that's the other superpower I would say I have, which is being good with design.
Okay.
Understanding what is good design, bad design. We work with a lot of architects,
Right.
interior designers, Again, team plays a very big role there, especially the interior design and architect team. But for example, this design that you see, right? So these are bamboos,
Yeah.
right? This came from my recent trip to Bali. I'd gone to Bali, and there in a cafe, I saw that these bamboos were there. So I immediately took a photo, video of that, and sent it to my architect. Hey, this is what I want in my next space.
Okay.
I want to put bamboos there. Help me do it, right? So
So you have an eye for design.
yeah,
Is that something you're born with, or can you develop that?
it is something that you realize.
Hmm.
It is something that you realize, and the way I think it happens, right? There's a very famous quote by Bruce Lee, and it's my favorite quote as well. It goes like this. It says, "Empty your mind, be formless, be shapeless like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes a cup. If you put water into a bottle, it becomes a water. If you put water into a teapot, it becomes a teapot. Water can flow or it can crash." Now, the way I apply this quote to businesses, if you're doing something right, be water and take the shape of the business that business is trying to put you in. This business requires you to be good at hospitality. It requires you to be good at design to stand out. It requires you to build a community which people can't get anywhere else. So I realized this after getting into this business that I need these things. And slowly, I started observing, becoming better, looking at things around me.
Yep.
And picked up that.
Now, when you say that you realized it after getting into it,
Yeah.
was there never a moment where you thought, this is not what I signed up for?
Not really, no.
No? You
No.
just, was again a part of your personality where you always get into things, and if you hit a problem, you find a way out and try and learn and circumvent that?
Yeah. So, for example, when COVID hit, right, a lot of co-working spaces, managed offices shut down.
Yeah.
Right. But my first thought was, world is not going to end here. Right. If world is going to end, and all of us will die.
None of it will matter anyways.
It wouldn't matter anyways. My first thought was, when world will come back, they would want flexibility. They would want, options like co-working, and they would want options where they can grow their small team to become large eventually. And it luckily played out that way. So as entrepreneurs, you're optimistic a lot of times, right? You don't see the negative. You see what is the positive in this. What can I learn from this? What is at the end of the tunnel?
Is there
you're
light?
entering this dark.
You believe there is light.
You believe that there is light.
Yeah.
You believe that there is light. You believe that this is not the end. And also from switching from my other businesses to this business, right? I only shut down the other businesses after this business started doing well.
Okay.
It took away my attention. These businesses, this new business took away my attention. That's why my old business stopped. So you never quit as an entrepreneur. And that sort of plays a role when you're doing things.
So the other business that you speak of, were there lessons that you learned from that you used here in this CoKarma, co-working space?
Yeah, a lot of lessons. So for example, I mentioned earlier that whole software mentality or building products. I didn't do engineering. I come from a commerce background. But when I started doing startups, I understood that you need to understand technology. And then I read books like The Lean Startup. I learned about MVP. I learned about how startups are built.
Okay.
I used to watch a lot of Steve Jobs videos. So you learn along that way. So brought those learnings in. Then, at my first startup, I failed at building a strong business model. So if you look at CoKarma, the business model is very strong. There's a revenue coming in. There's a cost to build a space, and then there is a profit that is made at the end of the day. If you are not making money, if there is no healthy unit economics, then it's not a good business. Then it's not a good unit.
Don't do the business at all.
Don't do the business. I say, if you're starting a business, if you're doing a startup, this is a lesson for all the entrepreneurs. If you're doing a startup, don't start by building the product. Start with an Excel sheet. Start with an Excel. Understand what your cost is going to be. Understand what your revenue is going to be and where it is going to come from, and see if there is a margin. See if you're making a profit at the end of the day. At least start thinking about these things. And then as you sort of keep building your business or your product or your startup, that will keep refining. But it is important to have that mindset.
Right. Any idea that somebody has, how do they vet that idea? How do they see if it fits the market, if the market needs it or not? Let's take a random example, right? I want to build, not like going back to the software kind of a thing. Like that's what most of us want to do at this point of time, right? Most of the Gen Z also wants to do. So you want to build a, what do we do? Build a fitness app.
Hmm.
How do you check if that's supposed, will it work, not work? How do you go about checking that in the first place? Even if you put something on an Excel sheet, is your idea, does it have any merit or not? How do you check that?
How do you check if a startup
Yeah,
idea will work or
yeah,
not? How
yeah,
do you validate
yeah.
it, right? So firstly, you got to understand that it takes time.
Hmm.
You got to be patient, right? So if you're building a fitness app, right, there's a lot of things that you can do in fitness. So let's say if you're providing, let's say you're putting live videos of people exercising, doing calisthenics, say for example, at their home,
Hmm.
right? So let's say that is your idea. So what is required for it? One is you need an app, right? So if you need an app, you need a tech team or you need to outsource somebody building that app.
Hmm.
Second is you need a trainer. You need a trainer who can do calisthenics, or you need to know how to do calisthenics, right? So you need a trainer. Third is you need an operations team who can manage end to end of this, right? Fourth is you need great presence on social media and other aspects so that you can acquire clients, right? So you need
Right.
like a very strong
Right.
marketing team. So what you should do is firstly go out and ask to people, right, who are your potential customers, hey, do you want to learn calisthenics in the first place? Is this something that you would like to learn? Or do you even know about calisthenics, right? Is this something that you know about? And speak to probably about 10, 20, 50, 100 people and understand if this is a problem that is worth solving.
So even if you, before you start building it, you say go out and talk to people and find
For
out.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Don't start by building the app.
Hmm.
First go and talk to people and then understand whether they need this or not. Whether you're firstly solving a problem or not. You have to solve a problem when you're building a business. Second is if they say, yes, I need this product, I need this fitness app, then ask them how much you're willing to pay. Let's say if I build an app where you see videos, how much will you pay per session or how much will you pay monthly for this? If they say a price, and if 10 people say that price, that is the price for your product. Then once you've got the price for your product, go and reverse engineer, right? So let's say if they say I will pay 1,000 rupees for these classes, and you can, and you think you can get about, let's say, 10,000 people to do this. How much is that? That is close to about a crore.
Yeah. 10 past 7. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say a crore is what you would make by getting 1,000 people. Now, what do I need to get 1,000 people? What do I need to build the app? What do I need to get the trainer? Go back and do the math. Build a team. Raise funding for it, or fund it if you have funds for it, or run it as a WhatsApp group and see. Yeah.
Right.
So one of my friend used to run a restaurant, right? And he was not a chef himself, and I used to see him struggle with chefs all the time. So I say, if you're running a restaurant, be a chef. You have to be a chef if you're running a restaurant.
Okay.
If you're running a fitness app, if you're not a trainer yourself, you will always struggle. If you're running a tech startup, if you don't know how to code, you will always struggle. If you're running a co-working space, if you don't understand what good interiors is, or if you don't understand what good hospitality is, you will always struggle. So understand what the core of that business is. The core of a fitness app is the trainer. So either have a co-founder as a trainer if you're not the trainer, or learn how to train people. Because that is the core. You're transferring a skill that you have to other people as a trainer. Then build the app, do other things. So go out and speak. First is go out and speak to people. Get your pricing right.
Right.
Third is go back and do your math. Fourth is understand how you will get your first customers, whether you'll get it through an app or you will get through WhatsApp.
Right.
Test the whole thing just through WhatsApp. Or through non-linear ways. For example, we tested CoKarma with a small 40-seater space. So do it in a cheaper way. So if you can test a fitness app with WhatsApp, test it. Once you understand there are enough people, enough interest, the city is getting excited about what you're building, then go and build a product. Then go to investors and say, hey, this is how much interest I've been able to develop. These are our trainers. This is my team. Please give me money.
So this approach is more for B2C, or does the same thing work for B2B also?
It applies to everybody.
Everything.
Yeah. So understanding customers for a business is paramount.
You need to know who your customer is.
You need to know who your customer is.
Yeah.
And you need to understand what you're solving for that customer. And you need to figure out what price they're willing to pay for what you're building.
Interesting. All right. So You have been thinking so many things right now. Let me gather. Let me come to one point. Um, all right. I'll go somewhere else.
Hmm.
Any other business that you thought of during this time while you were working on CoKarma, or is just one thing at one point of time?
While I was working at CoKarma, no,
Huh.
I've been
Working on
consumed
this.
with CoKarma,
All right.
especially from the
Because
last
you
four,
said
five.
you had to let go of the other three
Yeah.
startups because it was eating away your time. So you put all your eggs in the same basket.
Yeah, I didn't put them away like consciously like this. It's just that CoKarma was consuming me so much
Hmm.
that I didn't have time for anything else. So as I said, we grew from that small 40-seater space to about close to 4,000
Hmm.
seats, right? So this is a very operationally intensive business. You have to make sure that the engines are running well
Right.
all the time
Right.
at all our spaces. So we have 13 locations, 13 different locations
Hmm.
that we're catering to, and we're growing every year. So until about 2.5, 3 years ago, we only had about 600 seats. So from 600 to 4,000, we have grown only in the last 2.5, 3 years. So we've had like very high growth in the last 2, 3 years, and then we'll grow to, our next level in the next coming 2, 3 years. So there's a lot of opportunity within CoKarma. So I'll tell you a little bit about our industry.
Hmm.
What is happening now is, if you think about the commercial office real estate market in India, it is about $1 trillion industry.
Okay.
Just commercial office real estate, not co-working, but commercial office real estate.
Hmm.
Co-working is only about 12 to 15% of that entire market.
Hmm.
It will grow and become 30-35% of that industry.
Hmm.
So imagine a $300 billion industry in our country, just in India. How many industries like that are there?
Hmm.
Not a lot of industries, right?
Right.
So it's a very, very big market. Second thing about this industry is it's not a winner take all market.
Hmm.
It's not like a Blinkit or a Zepto where there'll be only 2, 3 players and they will cater to everybody in the country. This is a market where you will build a certain number of seats, and those seats will be occupied by people that live around that area.
Right.
As simple as that. So it's like a grocery business or a cafe or a coffee business.
There's space for a lot of people.
There's a space for a lot of players.
A lot of players.
If
Yeah.
you're running a coffee shop in Hyderabad, people from Bangalore are not going to come and consume that coffee.
Correct.
Or if you're running a coffee shop in Financial District, people from Himayatnagar are not
Will
going
not
to come and consume.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most likely, the people who live around Financial District, Kokapet, or High-Tech City will come and have that coffee. So that's how co-working businesses. People who live around this area will come and take the spaces, which means you as a brand can have multiple branches.
Right.
And then with around you also, you will have multiple players.
Hmm.
So a lot of this commercial office real estate, the whole $300 billion industry, there's a lot of players who are coming up and taking up this space.
Hmm.
So there's opportunity for them, there's opportunity for us. We are only in Hyderabad currently. Our idea is to take CoKarma from here to the world.
Hmm.
So our milestones are, how do we take this from these 13 centers to about 25, 30 centers
In India first.
in India
In India.
in the next 2, 3 years. And then from that 25, 30 centers, how do we take it to 100 centers?
Hmm.
Right? So once we get there, are we going to be in other cities, other countries? How can we be in Dubai? How can we be in Bali? How can we be in other countries as well?
Hmm.
So that's the sort of opportunity that is lying in front of us.
Hmm.
So there is no point me getting distracted when the world is my oyster. Right? So
Right,
that's how I
right,
see this
right.
opportunity.
So
as.
now, when you say expanding the centers into different cities, I'm assuming each city provides a different set of challenges.
Yeah.
So how does one prepare for that? Like Hyderabad, you probably know. You've been here all your life.
Yeah.
You must have made some contacts along the way.
Hmm.
Say, for example, you go to Noida,
Hmm.
far away from here.
Hmm.
Then how would you start off? How would you circumvent those set of challenges?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes firstly it takes away a lot of bandwidth.
Hmm.
And we are only in Hyderabad. You're asking somebody who has not done other cities.
Right.
So whatever I'm saying comes from an assumption. But our hypothesis is we want to do tier 1 cities, right? And the reason we want to do tier 1 cities first is because we feel that if we enter a city, if you do 1 or 2 branches there, or if you do 10 branches, it's the same amount of work.
Hmm.
Because you'll have to create the backend and operational engines for 1 or 2 branches or 10 branches.
Hmm.
So we want to be in larger cities. We want to be in cities like, Noida. We want to be in Bangalore. We want to be in Pune. We want to be in Chennai. We want to be in Ahmedabad. We want to be in all major cities that are there in the country. A lot of people say that co-working, why don't you start tier 2 cities? Tier 2 cities are a great opportunity. I say yes, tier 2 cities are an opportunity, but we'll be able to do 1 center or 2 centers in these tier 2 cities, and we'll not be able to go beyond that for a very long time. Right? So that is one thing. One thing is we want to look at large cities where we can do multiple centers.
Right.
The way we do that is we would have a SWAT team, something we call a SWAT team, right? A team which is dedicated just to start that city, run that city, and make that city successful for CoKarma. So we will have a SWAT team that will go and firstly figure out which locations need a co-working space in that
Right.
city.
Right.
So location is very important.
Hmm.
So you want to find the right location, just like a coffee shop. If you start at the wrong location, your coffee shop
Doesn't
will
work.
fail.
The coffee could be brilliant, but nobody's going to come.
So find the right location. Then we know how to build spaces.
Hmm.
So we will build an office space. Then thirdly, find a way to market that space, market that in that community just with one center to start. If that center does well, then we would go in and expand into other centers in that city. So we will penetrate that city like we've penetrated Hyderabad. So if you think about us, we are there from Himayat Nagar to Kokapet,
Hmm.
right? So we are spread across the city. So like that, we want to be spread across any new city that we get into.
All right. So this is one approach, right? Where you start off small, start with one center, and then see if it's successful, and then replicate that.
Mm.
Now, somebody with deep pockets comes into the business. They'll probably start off with 15 centers in a city. How do you see that competition? Like you said, it's a capex intensive business. I
Yeah,
understand, but
for sure.
there are players who like a lot of deep pockets, right?
Yeah.
Say for example, just name dropping, Adanis or Ambanis want to get into this space.
Mm.
They have all the cash reserves that they need.
Mm.
If they go like 50 centers in a city,
Mm.
then what would happen? And how would
Yeah, it's a bit like saying
hypothetical? I know it's too hypothetical.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, it's very hard. Easier said than done.
Hmm.
It's like saying, "Arey, there's Oyo in every city, right? Can Adani and Ambani come and start like Oyos everywhere? Is
Yeah,
it that easy?
yeah.
That is one thing. Second thing is, the margins are only that many. So let's say if you start 10 or 15 centers, if you fail at one or two centers, all your cash flows and profits will be taken away by those two centers that you failed at. So you have to be very careful when you're starting centers. Every unit has to run profitable. If you fail at one or two units, then your business is gone off the toss. And if you fail at a city, then you're in deep trouble.
Got it.
If I run a little bit of a math for you,
Hmm.
to start a 200-seater co-working space, it will cost somebody close to 2 crore rupees. One
Okay,
center. One
okay.
center of 200 seats. Average centers are 300-400 seats. But I'll give you a smaller example. So a 200-seater center will cost you 2 crore rupees. To start 10 centers, it will cost you 20 crore rupees. So you have to put 20 crores all at once. Then you need to have a team who can sort of operate, manage the space.
Right.
Then in each center, you have 200 people. So 10 centers, you will have 2,000 people. So 2,000 people, you have to fill up day one. Will you get clients on the day one? It is very hard. It takes a bit of time to fill up the spaces. So all that operational expense will come. So operationally, you will start filling and you will start doing a negative cash flows.
Right.
So it's not an easy business. You have to understand the math and do it carefully.
So you just gave an example, say 200 seater will cost you 2 crores,
Hmm.
right? You start off with 40 seater at 6 lakhs. That's what you invested.
Yeah.
It's grown. I mean, the costs have grown so much. Like at that point of time, then the 200 seater should cost you 30 lakhs.
Yeah.
If it's 40 seats for 6 lakhs and into 5,
Yeah.
so it's 30 lakhs. But right now it's at 200.
40 seats would have costed 3 lakhs.
6 is what you said. The first one you invested.
First one we invested 6. Yeah.
6 lakhs,
Yeah.
right? So just using at that point of time,
Yeah.
going to that timeline, at 200 seater at that time, it's probably 30 lakhs of investment.
Yeah.
But now the same 200 is going to cost you 2 crores. So it's become more costlier.
Yeah. So that 40-seater was very basic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
It was very basic.
Hmm.
There was some infrastructure already there in that office. So we utilized a bit of that.
Hmm.
And we've also understood the art of making beautiful spaces,
Hmm.
right? So there's investment that goes in from that perspective too.
So now making the office a beautiful space, where does it fit in? Like the 1, 2, 3, 4 things of top things in a co-working space, where does the beauty aspect, aesthetic aspect of it come in?
So I think it comes second. The first aspect is to make sure the space is having a great infrastructure.
Okay.
When I say infrastructure, your air conditioning should be working all the time. Your internet should be up all the time. Your chairs and tables should be comfortable, if not top notch. Right. So there's a certain level of infrastructure which should never fail. It's a bit like electricity. you only realize about electricity when it goes off.
Yeah.
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 That's how office spaces should be. You should come and work and you should never realize that you're coming in and working in an office, which means everything should be functioning well.
Hmm.
So from an infrastructure perspective, it has to be top notch. Once that is taken care, then you think about design. Then you
Right.
think about how to make it beautiful so that it's
Hmm,
attractive.
Nice. Can we go back to the earlier startups that you worked on? One is Learn More. One is Gift a Sari.
Yeah.
Why Gift a Sari?
Why gift a sari? So this was 2011.
2011. Okay.
2011 that I was trying to do this. This was a D2C startup in that year. And I was trying to run this business from Australia.
Okay.
So the idea was, my father always had a sari business. We had a traditional family sari business. So the idea was, how can we bring saris from India to the world?
Hmm.
And we used to notice that people in Australia used to wear saris only during festivals, or they used to gift saris, as a gift to their, colleagues or relatives and friends. So we thought, how can we bring saris from there to the world? And then Gift a Sari sort of as a name came in. It was a D2C startup that we were trying to run in 2011. We were probably, early in our time.
No, you carry on. That's just
Yeah.
messaging to me. Carry on. Sorry.
Battery thing done?
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
It's done? Okay.
They've started it. This is how it is.
Yeah.
How it's चालू है. बताइए.
But yeah.
हाँ.
So that's how it started. It started by me thinking, Arey, can we bring saris from India to the world? And
2011, when you say, don't you think it was ahead of time, because the mobile internet was not what it was or it is today, isn't it? It's not that easy. तभी भी क्या अपने वो BSNL के routers हुआ करते थे ना? Was it, or did we get better with internet in India at that point of time?
No, India penetration internet was very
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 bad,
very
no?
low. Yeah.
So
very, very bad.
this was a technology driven idea, and you needed internet for this
Yeah,
for it to happen. So
yeah. So this was way ahead of time.
हाँ.
That's why it didn't work.
Right.
Imagine D2C startup in 2011 for an India audience, or for a product which is India based and so ingrained to India, saris, right? Ahead of time. And the way I got the idea was, there was a company called Kogan. Kogan, what they used to do was, they used to provide TVs in Australia, like a D2C business for TVs. So they used to ship TVs from China and directly provide it to their consumers through a website. So I said, if this can be done for TVs, why can't it be done for saris? You're naive, right? When you're thinking of ideas and when you're thinking as an entrepreneur.
Right.
So why can't it be done for startups, or why can't it be done for saris? So I said, okay, we can probably source saris from India, from the direct karigars or manufacturers, and then directly provide it to consumers, skipping all the steps, skipping all the wholesalers and all the other channels that are there in between.
Right. So, correct me if I'm wrong. At that point of time, you didn't test the market. You didn't go ask people, I'm guessing, do you want something like this? All the steps that you told me, say for example, fitness app, what we have
That's
to
the
do.
business where I learned that you need to ask customers.
That's what I was getting at. So that's where you learned all this.
Yeah. So I assumed that I know about sari business from my father's time.
Right.
I've been selling saris since the time I was 13, 14. So this is somebody that people need, something that people need. We can, of course, we can sell it in Australia, and of course we can sell it across the world, and of course I can build a tech product around it. I was so wrong. I was so wrong, right? So that's when. So what I did was, I said, okay, I have this idea. I'll go and build a website, and I need like a a backend management system. So I paid for the backend management system. I paid for the website. I spent like about 3 to 6 months getting that website built through a developer. Had a lot of trouble there, and got the website ready, and then put it in front of customers along with a lot of saris displayed. Nobody came.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening? I went and asked customers, hey, what happened? Why are you why are people not buying saris from this? They said, hey, look, saris, I understand the sari business, but we want to buy saris once we
touch
feel
it.
When we
Feel
touch
it.
When we touch it, when we feel it. And then, people can probably buy from websites, but at that time, payment gateways.
Correct.
So people didn't trust putting their credit cards on websites.
And even till late, COD is the more choice thing.
Yeah. So none of these things exist. That infrastructure to support mobile internet did not exist at all. Right? People didn't have like apps or people buying through apps. So that whole concept didn't exist. So way ahead of time, people said, hey, we don't. The other issue was people didn't trust buying online.
Correct.
Firstly, they wanted to feel the
Amazon didn't come into India for a long time, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because they knew that the Indian customers probably are not open to buying stuff online. It took a lot of time for them. They waited for Flipkart to go do its own thing, see if it's working or not. Then only I think later that's when they came into the market,
Yeah.
started selling things.
Yeah. So ahead of time, yeah. So
Nice.
you learn.
Off late, there's a surge of entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
Like everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. My theory around this: if everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, who's going to work for these entrepreneurs? Now, who do you think should become an entrepreneur? Want to be an entrepreneur? Who should? You still need those people working under that entrepreneur also to make a product successful, a company successful. If everybody is only going to be an entrepreneur, then I don't know how things will succeed. How do you look at that?
Yeah, I think you should go out and become an entrepreneur. If you can do 2-3 things. One is you have to look at a problem and you need to be passionate to solve that problem. Because solving problems is not easy.
Right.
It takes years to build something meaningful. So you have to keep at it, right? And if you're not passionate about it, you will quit. Some people quit in 2 months, some people quit in 6 months, some people quit in 1 year, right? But eventually you will quit if you're not passionate about solving that problem.
Right.
Second is you need to have risk-taking ability, which is, if I fail at this, then I'm going to be okay. So, for example, right, I left my, a good paying job in Australia, left that beautiful country.
Right.
Melbourne was rated best city to live in for 3-4 consecutive years at the time when I left. So and the reason I did that was because I thought, look, there is a set pattern of life that is there in Australia, which is you work at a company, you buy a house, you get married, you have children, you probably buy 2 houses.
Yeah.
Right. And then you keep paying for those houses for 20-30 years, paying those mortgages for 20-30 years. There's a set pattern of life which I saw for a lot of people. And a lot of these people were very, very smart, very, very talented, and could have contributed to the world in a lot of ways. So I said, I didn't want my life to be like that. I want my life to be meaningful. I want to create something which will last longer than me. Right?
It's okay to have that life also. It all
It's okay
depends
to
on
have
what
that.
you
If
want
you're
to
okay,
do.
if you're okay with it, that is completely fine. But I was not okay with it. Right? So you should be an entrepreneur if you are not
satisfied with that.
If you have something, if you have an itch to create something which will last longer than you. You should have that creation mentality. So I said, I want something which is more meaningful. So that's why I'm ready to leave all of this and come back to India and be prepared to live with my family, and not on my own. I was living on my own for 8 years. Be prepared to live with my family. Tell them that I need help. Right? Be open to that. Get support from wherever I want it, and be okay with little or no money for years. Yeah. You got to be prepared for that. And then even after that, if you fail,
should be okay with that.
Even after that, you fail, you should look at that as not failure. You should look at that as something that you tried and then that didn't work. Maybe you should try something else. I came to India to work on the edtech startup and not on CoKarma. CoKarma happened by chance. It is just so that my eyes, ears were open to look at something else. And I was also open to realize that this other business is not working. If you're too hung on something, if you're too stuck on something, you will never be able to move on to a different class. So I was okay with it. I was okay with failing. I was okay to try something new, and then try which takes a lot of capital. Try something which is a different skill set altogether, an industry that I didn't know anything about. So you should be okay with all of that, right?
If you're all by yourself, taking the risk is easier. Because there's no collateral damage, right? But if you are married, if you have a family to take care of, people are dependent on you, then your risk-taking appetite goes down.
Yeah.
How important is it to have a strong support structure around entrepreneurs?
Very, very, very important. And this is where being a Marwadi comes into play, right? We have people who have done businesses all their life, right? And we see such people. Some people succeed. A lot of them fail.
That's the key.
Most of them fail.
Yeah.
Most of them fail.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so we had seen those examples all through our life growing up, right? Our uncles starting a business and them not doing well, and then they're struggling. So you see that, and then eventually then doing well, or eventually getting into something, right? Life has its funny ways of
Playing out.
playing out.
Yeah.
So it eventually plays out. आप कहीं ना कहीं जाके तो आप settle हो ही जाओगे. So we've seen those examples, firstly. Secondly, we understand that it's important to have that ecosystem around you, which is you need to communicate with your family that you're doing it. You need to communicate with your, wife, your mother, whoever you have in your family close to you who are dependent on you, that this is what I'm planning to do. Please understand this and please support me. And you need to have a bind. If you don't have that bind, you're never gonna able to make it, because if you go back home every day to somebody who is nagging all the time, then you will not enjoy coming and working the next day.
Yeah.
So you need to have that. You need to communicate to them clearly that this is what your path is, and then you need to have an ecosystem of people who can fund you when it's needed. So we could get that loan for our second branch. Right. We could get that support when we need it in future. We could get that support in COVID when our offices were running completely empty. The cash flow that is coming in is not there.
Yeah.
So you need to have that, and then you need to be a good person. In general, if you're doing anything in life, whether you're doing entrepreneurship, whether you're working somewhere, whether you're working for somebody, you need to be a good person, because that will help you out eventually.
Right.
We were good with all our sort of owners, all our employees, and that helped us immensely in COVID. When we were not able to pay, when we needed some relaxation, all these people came out and said, we will help you. We know that you're going through a period and we will help you. It will not happen if you're not good at that. Yeah. So
do you think playing sports helped you deal with failures better? And like the Roger Federer example you gave me, like 50% of the points. Even Michael Jordan says the same thing, that he was counted upon to take the last shot of the game X number of times, and he failed at it 70% of the times. But people do remember the few times that he succeeds, but he says that I failed, which is why I succeeded eventually. Does that, has sports played a part in that? Or there are other aspects, like you said, you saw uncles and everybody else failing in the businesses. Did that play a part in shaping your mindset?
I think it's not one thing. I think definitely sports has helped me sort of have that mentality. But also me not doing well in my early life. For me personally, I can speak, right? I had not seen success in school or in my early college, right? So I knew how to deal with failure then. And then also seeing other people around me sort of not do well as well. I think all of that helps. It's never one thing. All
right, cool. The last one before we wind up this particular conversation, because I think I'll have more with you. That's the vibe I get. You told me about 3 models of not revenue, co-working space, right? One is you fund it yourself. Second is you have a partner. And the third is somebody takes the space and you just give the services. You just run the place, right? Now, there's something called REITs, right? REITs, where you only own a share or a small portion of the entire real estate. Is something like that coming into the co-working space also? Or because it's like CapEx intensive business, that is a long way off from now?
Yeah, so no, it's not long way off. It has already come, by the way.
Oh, is it?
There are a couple of co-working spaces in Bangalore that run on a REIT model.
Okay.
So the way REIT works is, from what I know, right, a little bit, it is like a stock market for real estate. Essentially, there is a property and you divide that large property into small chunks, which are like stocks. Right. And then you can buy these stocks and become an owner of that property. So it can be as low as 5-10 lakh rupees for a property which is probably 50-100 crores. Right. So you can own that property, a small chunk of that property. And then when that property is giving returns, you get a stable return or a form of return. Correct. From that. Which is higher than the regular real estate commercial market return. So that's how it works, right? So these some of the co-working players, what they're doing is they're taking large properties, and then they would have a cost for the infrastructure as well. All of that they would club in a form of a REIT. So there'll be like a top line cost that is there for that property, and then that cost is made in the form of a REIT and then given to these people who want to invest in this REIT, and they would invest and they would get a return. So
is CoKarma going that way anytime soon?
Not right now.
Okay.
No, we are.
But is it there in your horizon?
No, not right now. It is done by people who are taking much larger properties, right? So we are in the segment of servicing small and medium-sized businesses, people who need spaces from 20 seats to about 200 seats.
Okay.
That's our sweet spot. people who are doing REITs are servicing clients who have 300 to 1,000 seats,
Okay.
right? So they are doing much larger spaces. It's a much riskier
Hmm.
aspect as well. It's very new. So we are happy doing what we're doing currently. We are happy. I always say do things that you understand.
Hmm.
I don't understand that read aspect really well.
Hmm.
So once we understand it well, maybe we'll dive into it.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Of course. Just before we wind up,
Mm.
Nikhil wanted me to check about this with you. I'm sure you're familiar with the WeWork thing that happened, right? Entire web series was made on that.
Yeah. We
Right?
crash.
Yes, we crash.
Mm.
What was your reaction to that when you saw that? Because it's similar, the same space, right? WeWork was supposed to be the biggest co-working space in the world at one point of time or something like that,
Yeah.
and suddenly it just went to dust.
Yeah. So my reaction after seeing that series, you mean, or after
The news
seeing the
when
whole
it,
WeWork
yeah,
news?
yeah.
The news.
Yes,
So I think whatever happened with WeWork at that time was not good for our industry,
right.
because a lot of people looked at WeWork's failure and said that this entire industry is doomed. Yeah.
If the big one's gone, everybody's going to follow suit.
Yeah, this big one is gone. Everyone's going to fail as well.
Yeah.
And this was a period of 2020, 2021,
Hmm.
right? So what happened with WeWork at that time was, they had committed to a lot of properties. The example that you were giving earlier,
Right.
they got deep pockets from an investor,
Huh.
from Masa, and they invested a lot of that money in taking a lot of offices.
Hmm.
So suddenly they had all this money and all these offices that they've taken and built, and then now they had to give it to clients. Now, when they were not able to fill these offices with clients, there was cash flow pressures, and then when COVID hit,
Hmm.
everything came down crashing to them. Right?
Right.
You had people who didn't want to come out,
Hmm.
leave alone going to offices. So their IPO failed. Whatever they were planning failed. They were not able to raise money. Lot of bad things happened at that time.
Right.
Luckily, that all settled. And then there are other examples in our industry, people who have done like multiple offices and then gone on to list their businesses. Companies like AWFIS, SmartWorks, they've done well and they got listed, and their listings were successful, their IPOs were successful, and then that gave a very good example and a good name back to the industry.
All right. Let's not end on that somber note.
Yeah.
Let's end on a good note. Now, 5 years from now, where do you see CoKarma?
5 years from now. So as I said, we want to take CoKarma from here to the world.
Yes.
That's the dream.
So when's what's your first choice out of India? Which city?
First choice out of India.
Huh.
I have a
Tell me Melbourne.
Huh?
Melbourne. No, all right, go.
You never know. But I think my gut feel is it's going to be somewhere in the Middle East.
Okay.
Somewhere like a Dubai.
Even after all that's gone around the last couple of months?
I think
That's fine?
it like COVID world intent. I think this is not going to end, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
people are very resilient, so they'll come back.
So the Middle East is where you probably want to start off.
Middle East is somewhere I think we will go
Okay.
out of India first.
All right.
Mm.
So when that happens, we'll meet again.
We'll probably talk in Middle East in that,
Yes,
at that time. Then.
We'll do that. This was fun, Tarun. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for letting us use this space. Beautiful office. But you told me that this is not done completely, so I would like to come and see when it's done completely also.
For sure. And then, pleasure speaking to you. I thoroughly enjoyed having this conversation.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed sharing my journey with you. All the best for everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Tarun.
Right.
This is
Thank you so
wonderful.
much. Wonderful.